Got this unit here. I was called out for an oil leak, oil stain on the down here underneath the compressor. I got to looking around and using my backpack PGM IR leak detector, and finally pinpointed the leak on below this head pressure valve on this well. There's a little pinhole leak. So I'm going to kind of go through real quick the procedures of how I'm going to fix that. Pretty good sized condenser coil, pretty good sized receiver. So let me show you what I do. So I'm going to have to relieve the pressure off that condenser coil, the discharge line, and the liquid line from the condenser to the receiver. So the first thing I do is pump down the system, get the compressor to stop, and then I front seat the inlet of the receiver valve so that will stop the flow. It'll isolate it'll stop the flow here at the receiver. Then the next thing I do, the only access point to that part of the system is right here on the compressor discharge service valve. So I have to mid seat or on that in midway so that I can have access to get the pressure off of this discharge line. It goes into the top of the condenser, out the bottom of the condenser, into the head regulating valve, into the receiver. So what I usually do is I'll transfer the refrigerant out of the condenser into the suction line and the accumulator evaporators, so I don't have to have a recovery tank. And the way I do that to protect the compressor from liquid flooding while I'm putting the liquid refrigerant into that is I'll go ahead and front seat the suction service valve so that'll isolate the compressor from any liquid I'm putting into that side of the system while the unit's off. So once I get all my valves closed that I need to, the receiver inlet, the compressor suction inlet, and I get my hose connected. That's the only place I've got to connect onto the discharge valve. Then I go ahead and connect my recovery machine. So basically we're going to recover out of the condenser, transfer it into the suction line so we can have a place to store it without using a recovery tank. And then I just use my recovery machine to do the transfer pretty quick. There's probably, I would guess, maybe 50 pounds of refrigerant in that part of the system, so you need a pretty good sized recovery tank to fix this leak. Now I'm transferring the gas out. Got my valve ports removed to make it a little faster. Just putting it in there as fast as I can. Alright, now I got the pressure off of the condenser coil. It's empty. It's all in the suction line. I'm going to get my torch and fix that little leak there. Alright, all I really needed to do was just get some heat on that pinhole, melt that braze, the solder material, and sealed up that pinhole pretty good, pretty fast. Took me about 10 seconds. Use a pretty good sized torch tip on it so it goes fast. It's an inch and an eighth line right there, so I'll use a 17, 15 room foot on pretty much everything I braze. Get it done quick. Of course, always pull a good vacuum whenever you make a repair. The system was open just a little bit. Any good refrigeration technician, mechanic will evacuate after they have made repairs like this. So once you do that, we're going to have to, basically we've got the liquid line full of refrigerant. We need to pump that down safely through the compressor so we don't bust the compressor. So I've still got my discharge line midway, and what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open up my receiver valve over here and get that back open to the system. And once I do that, then I'll restore power to the unit and then crack open the suction valve carefully and let the compressor pump down the suction line. crack open that suction valve so that compressor can pump down that suction line carefully.